So hello class, this is Wednesday's lecture. If you're watching this correctly, we're going to be learning the law of cosines today. So you want law of sines. If you guys have practiced and followed along, law of sines is actually not so bad. The law of cosines is a lot more complicated. It's actually one that has a formula that will be difficult to memorize or understand, and hopefully you guys will. You're going to be expected to memorize it, sorry, but I think you guys can understand it and memorize it pretty well. Okay. So you want to use law of sines because there's instances in the triangle that you want to solve it. I remember some of you, I think it was Johanna, that asked, why don't we just use, sine, cosine, and tangent to solve a triangle? But there's instances where you don't have a right triangle, so you can't use sine, cosine, and tangent. And that's why I use the law of sines. This one is the law of cosines, so there's some instances where I can't even use the law of sines. For example, what if you're given 3 sides? How do you use the law of sines now? Or this one says side, angle, side. You could still use law of sines, but just in case, I could use this one as well. Here's the formula for law of cosines, and for now, while I'm gone, you could just use this table. A, B, and C, you remember, represent the length of a side, and then capitals represent the angle measures. So A squared equals B squared plus C squared, sort of like, Pythagorean theorem, minus 2BC, which are these two, cosine A. Okay, and you can do that for any side, B or C. The only things that change are these letters, opposite of whatever's here. So this is B, this is A and C, and this is A and C. If this is C, this is A and B, this is A and B. And then the angles will match with what you're trying to look for. So A, B, B, and C, this is C. And I'm not going to expect you to memorize it while I'm gone, but when we get back, you're going to have to be able to understand and how to do this without looking at your notes. Okay. So here's an example. It says solve the triangle A equals 13, B equals 18, C equals 26. So I have 3 sides. I can't use law of sines. Okay, and they want me to solve the triangle, which means find all the angles. So just to start off with the easiest one, the first one, let's try to find the A. Okay, and you may notice there's an alternative form here that you could use if you wanted to. What that is that they just solved, they got cosine A by itself. So they subtracted B, they subtracted C. I'll do that for you. Okay? So let me scroll down real quick. Let's solve this triangle. Okay. So first of all, let me use blue today. I want to find cosine of A. Okay, I want to find A. So I'll write out the formula: A squared plus, it's black. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. And again, they gave me all the sides, so I want all the angles. So I'm going to try to find this. I need to get this by itself. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving everything else to the other side. So I'm going to subtract B squared and C squared to the other side. Oops. So do you see how I just subtracted B squared and subtracted C squared to the other side? Okay. Here I have negative 2BC cosine A, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2BC. Okay, so far? And then if I'm trying to find this angle A, what I'm going to do, and again, I know some of you say you're completely confused, but to get rid of cosine, I'm going to need to I need to cosine inverse both sides. So that these cancel, and my answer to figure out A is the cosine inverse of A squared minus B squared minus C squared minus 2BC. Okay? And I'm not going to go out and do this whole problem for you guys. But what you want to do is, you're given A, you're given B, you're given C, so all you have to do is plug it into the formula. Plug in A, plug in B, plug in C, plug in B and C, and take the cosine inverse of it, and then you'll get it. Okay, and that's how you get the angle A. To solve the triangle, I need to find the other 2 angles. You guys are bright enough, you know all you have to do is find one more angle, and once you find the second angle, you can just subtract from 180 to get the third angle. Okay. Now that you know that how I got this, I want you guys to know that you could also use this side of the table. Okay. So let's just say I want to know angle B. I could use the cosine B formula, right? Do you see this cosine B formula? Okay. And if I want to know what B is, I could just cosine inverse both sides. So once you're done with this problem, this one right here, and I want to find angle B, what I'll do is take the cosine B formula and just cosine inverse both sides. So if I want to find B, all I got to do is a cosine inverse. I'm just copying this right here, of a squared plus c squared minus b squared over 2ac. That's how you find angle B. Once you have angle A, once you have angle B, you could add the two and subtract it from 80, and that's how you're going to get all three angles. Okay? Something a little bit easier, I'm looking at example 2, and we only have time to do 2 examples today, is solve the triangle given. Okay? So I'm going to look at the triangle, and I see they give me AC and angle B. So since they gave me angle B, can you see that this is the only formula that I can use right here? Yeah? So what I'll do is I'll plug in the specific variables. So first let me write out the formula. B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine B cosine B. Same thing as 6.2 squared plus 9.5 squared minus 2, 6.2, 9.5 cosine 75, and this is 75 degrees and 21 minutes, which is like a fancy decimal version for degrees. So let's just simplify it. Let's just make it 75 degrees. Okay, you'll put that in your calculator. Okay, you'll get a number, but you notice that that just gives me b squared, right? So if I really want b, can you guess what I have to do? Yeah, I'm gonna have to square root. I'm gonna have to square root this whole thing. That was an ugly square root, but that's how you get b, and you could solve the rest of the triangle. Okay, that is the law of cosines. I know some of you are gonna get confused because I didn't actually fill it out, or I actually didn't like solve it in the calculator. I wish I could show you how to do it, since I'm not there, but you have to be comfortable and ready to use a calculator. In the real world, obviously, it should be easy for you guys. So today in class, what I want you to do is I'm going to practice the worksheet, law of cosines. Let me pull it up real quick. So this is what the law of cosines worksheet should look like. Just like yesterday, what you probably want to do is just do the odds. Okay. I will post the answers on Schoology on Twitter, so you guys can see this. And then, let's see what. Yeah, you're all capable of doing all the questions, so you want to go through the odds, you want to practice. Some of you may get it, so you have to do all of them. Again, I just want to see some practice to see if you get it. And then by posting answers, maybe you can see if you're on the right track. So again, this is the law of cosines. You could use the table. You don't have to memorize the formulas. And see if you're on the right track, see if you get it. Again, go on to Schoology, or even, I forgot to mention, you can even go on Twitter. If there's, keep a running tab or running journal. Do you get it? Do you not get it? What do you want to go over when I come back? So that's the law of cosines. Spend the rest of the time doing these worksheets, and then hopefully you enjoyed the lesson. All right, see you guys later.